Hello everyone! Welcome to the latest anime news for the week ending November 6th, 2022. Starting off, major anime works like Makoto Shinkai's films have been getting more and more marketing collaborations over the years, but the upcoming Suzume film definitely takes the prize for most at once. The film's official Twitter account announced this week that it will collaborate simultaneously with 47 different companies, one to represent each prefecture in Japan.
Wow.
Dang.
I feel bad for those interns.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Interns, how about the negotiating crew?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
cow.
Not going to list them all here, don't worry. But the lineup includes restaurants, food creators, tourist locations, hotels, parks, and more. The Japan's Door Locking Project, play on the name of the movie, aims to, quote, lighten modern Japan, which is confronting many different difficulties, end quote. The film is also collaborating with McDonald's to launch Suzume-themed Happy Meals, which feature a spin-off children's picture book titled Suzume and the Chair. Now, this is interesting because, you know, rarely do anime films get, like, a Happy Meals, but also be, like specifically a children's-oriented kind of spin-off object for them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I can't think of a lot of other franchises that would do this. Like, and because you certainly could for a lot of franchises, right? Like, even the Shonen franchise, like the One Piece, you could do a fun pirate thing.
Right.
But you don't. And I just kind of like the idea.
Well, how would you do a silent voice Happy Meal?
Everyone gets their own little hearing aid.
The Garden of Words Happy Meal.
Obscure Japanese poetry book, I
Yeah.
think, would be it.
All the haikus you've never heard of. Oh, lovely.
There you go.
I'm kind of surprised Ghibli doesn't do this.
Yeah, you'd really think they would have been on board with that stuff. Be like, hey, it's a Totoro Happy Meal.
Exactly.
Well, that's obvious. Isn't it? Well,
Miyazaki's probably like, that's not socialist.
Yeah, I'm sure, yes.
That.
McDonald's is the devil.
You could roll the profits back into something socialist. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. More Ghibli parks everywhere.
Exactly.
But yeah, also I gotta say, I do appreciate, and who knows what else is going on with this, but it is also nice that you're not getting a cheap little plastic car.
Yeah.
You're getting a book. That's
That
awesome.
your kid can choke on.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully not a choking hazard.
The book is entirely made of senbei crackers. So it's
Yeah.
nice. What a bonus.
Hey. Meanwhile, Japan Crate's Sugoi Mart has begun selling a new anime collaboration drink with perhaps the worst titled anime to create a drink with.
Yeah.
Can you guess what it might be?
What?
Stomach virus.
Let's all
No,
drink
wait a minute, no.
bleach.
Yeah.
The new, and I love this title, Bleach Coca-Cola Zero Soul Blast Cola.
Mm-hmm.
Limited edition soda sells for $10 a can.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's just a colossal cash grab, hey?
Yeah. Now,
Oh.
okay. What flavor is it?
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess mint because it's, you know, bleach, so it's minty
Right.
flavor.
Okay. Yeah. See, what do you think? What do you think the flavor might be?
Death. Anger.
Yes.
Action flavor?
Yes. You're right. Correct. John, you are correct. It is action flavored. It is officially action flavored.
Oh, my googly.
You can feel that punch on your talons. There you go. Violence in a can, folks.
Exactly. A Bleach pop-up shop opened last month featuring a vending machine that dispenses the drink and also features spoken lines from Ichigo. As well as some kind of AR compatibility so fans can take cool photos with their new action-flavored Bleach soda.
Drink.
Yes.
I'll pass.
The shape of the can and the design of it, I know Coke has recently done a collab with the artist known as Marshmallow.
Okay.
And they did a regular Coke flavor and a Coke Zero flavor in a special can that the design was done by the artist. So this is an interesting element of that same sort of trend where they're trying to find like this little niche gimmick. And not to say that Bleach is a niche thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's huge.
It seems to be known. Apparently, people follow it. But meaning that they come up with some kind of like flavor description that's mysterious. They come up with a different can design, different, using a different sleek can versus the squat.
It's like a Red Bull sort of type of can, yeah.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's.
I'm just imagining that people are spending like $20, 10 on one can and 10 to drink, 10 to keep.
Yeah, of course.
Because I still have my my Cal Ripken Coke bottle
there
still
we go.
with the Coke in the glass bottle.
Nice.
So
Wow.
I'm sure there's some
drink
otaku
that.
out there, 30 years from now will be like, oh, look, my Soul Blast.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh.
Like that's a snazzy can. Like
Yes.
no question.
Yes,
I also do find it funny that apparently it is true. I know, John, you can tell us this on pain of death, but I had heard that every Coca-Cola can is required by like corporate policy to have the white swoosh on a red background, and so they have put on here a little red square with the white swoosh on it. Surrounded by orange and white.
Well, so you
got it.
notice too that little box, it says creations.
Oh yeah.
That's a new kind of a new thing where recently
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
recently they came out with flavors Space
Right.
and Dreamland, which are a part of this effort in the Coca-Cola company with this creations division where they come up with different flavor combinations.
Okay, yeah.
So that's, incorporating that and throwing creations on it. Yes, there you go.
So here's the question: we now know the flavor of space, dreams, and action. What are they going to figure out next? The flavor of love, maybe.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. that's going to be a hard one to quantify. just like quantifying what does love mean.
Yes. They can quantify dreams.
Okay, never mind. We're not.
No, Steve. No, back away. I'm just kidding. Not past 9.
Agape love.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I
A special kind of love.
who in the heck knows what they'll come up with the next theory. They could go dark for Halloween and be like sadness.
Good. Yeah, there we go.
Just sad. Like, oh.
Emo flavored.
Emo flavor. Yes. Who knows?
Yes.
We will see. Moving right along. People's widespread love of anime has been used to educate viewers on all manner of things, and a new YouTube channel hopes to bring that effect over to the world of contemporary art. The, quote, channel to learn the basics of contemporary art, end quote, launched this week and features 2 cute chibi anime characters as guides who hope to make learning about art more interesting. The actual art history kind of the channel is overseen by a professor at the Kanazawa College of Art's Fine Arts Department. It seems like a kind of natural outgrowth of all of those, manga guide to physics kind of books.
Right. Yeah.
So I think this makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah,
This is the Mona Lisa.
exactly.
Oh.
Well, it's contemporary art. That's the
This
interesting
is
thing.
why we deface property.
Yeah.
Contemporary art. So,
Yeah.
Contemporary art. Okay.
Yeah.
So all the modern artists. Here's Maplethorpe. No.
Oh, okay.
Not go
Oh
there.
goodness.
But
Marcus
yeah.
Casabi.
Is Picasso still considered modern? I wonder,
Gee.
because that's
That's
50 years old now.
Yeah, as I say, that's a good question. It's like whether the frame of reference has shifted, so that's now more of a cubist, modernist, early 20th century something, and that now we're the postmodernist,
Maybe.
contemporary,
Yeah, I don't-
21st century. I have no idea.
Not a thing
It's
I would
all
know.
socialism.
Exactly. Everything's social.
Paintings for the people.
Exactly. Yes. Must be good, useful art. Let's see here. Do we have an image? Is this the image? Is this the thing? It looks like it is the thing. The Simpsons has been airing an annual. Yep.
Oh, Lord.
The Simpsons has been airing an annual parody Halloween special for almost as long as it's been on television, and this year they took on Death Note in an impressively dedicated way.
It is hilarious.
That is Lisa Simpson as Light right there.
Yes.
Death Tome.
Death Tome, yes.
Tome.
It is hilarious. It is just so. Oh my god.
So,
It-
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so the reason it works so well is because it's animated by DR Movie, who work on The Simpsons, but they also animated Death Note. Or they were one of the studios who worked on Death Note. So they were just like, "Hey guys, come on over. Just sit down here and work on this."
I just
It
love
is
the
all
fact
levels.
that her Death Tome, the guy behind her with the disco medallion is Disco Stu.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Like what? That's awesome.
It's pretty impressive, partly because like, you think about how many people they had to like rethink and redesign for this.
Yeah.
Like it's not just copying and pasting characters into a thing. It's like no, we had to completely rethink it. The parody tried to be as faithful as possible, down to angles and lighting of iconic shots, like of course light writing in the diary, but added in one twist of comedic potential. The added rules that victims cannot be killed in the same way twice.
Yes.
I want to see this so bad
Yep.
now. This is terrible. I want to see this now.
Wait until you see who L is.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Better not be Ralph Wiggum.
No, I can safely say.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair
good.
enough. Yeah. Looking forward to that. It's interesting too because there have been a lot of American shows have done an anime parody at some point. Having the anime episode or the anime segment, whatever. But it always feels like American artists trying to mimic the style, as opposed to really being that style.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the reasons that this has gotten so much attention is because, like, no, it's it's just the thing. It's exactly that. So that's pretty cool.
Like when I saw this, I saw it 2 hours after it uploaded, and I just happened on it, and I was just like, oh, okay, someone did a parody, and I was watching it, and then I heard the actual Simpson voices, right?
Yeah.
Of the characters. I'm like, oh wow, they must have like done the dialogue, and wow, that's a lot of work. And then I'm like, no, this is actually them. And then I was like, and then once you watch it, you realize what it is, and it's like, oh my god, and it's this. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth the watch. It's for Death Note fans. It's just a loving nod. Let's put it that way. A loving parody nod.
Cool.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to some anime announcements, shall we?
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right. So November 6th, 2022 was the in-universe launch date of Sword Art Online. So SAO has been an active MMO trapping people in its VR world for the past year.
Hooray.
I'm sorry, the past like couple days. Thankfully, nobody's ended up trapped in a video game any more than they usually are. But a special event,
I
of
don't
course.
know what you're talking about.
Not hacked. What?
Special event was, of course, held to commemorate the 10-year history of the anime. That's right. Sword Art Online is now a decade old.
God, it doesn't feel like it.
The SAO Full Dive Memorial event hosted many of the series' voice actors and revealed the franchise is launching a brand new original film project. So, yep, there is new SAO. I think I may have a picture of that here. No, I do not, but we'll get to this in a second. We'll go back to that in a moment. Moving on to other things, fans of fantasy and isekai anime adaptations with long, weirdly specific titles, get your notebooks ready.
Oh, jeez.
God.
A TV anime is in the works for I was reincarnated as the seventh prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I saw that announcement. I'm like, oof, boy, that's windy.
10-year-old sorcerer in his previous life, determined to continue his studies, reincarnated as a child prince. Next up is the admittedly wholesome sounding My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer. Another TV anime light novel adaptation. Retired adventurer Belgrieve and his daughter, who he found abandoned in the woods. Aww. After raising the girl, she sets off on her own, becomes a famous adventurer. But instead of chasing fame and fortune, she just wants to see her dad again.
Sweet.
Yeah. Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skills getting an anime. Yes. January 2023, Mukoda gets summoned from modern Japan into a world of swords and sorcery. But instead of superpowers, he gets the ability to buy modern goods in the fantasy world. And it turns out the tasty modern food becomes a hot commodity. So here's what I love about this manga. He gets summoned into this fantasy world, and they're like, congratulations, you have summoned because there's a big war going on over there with the evil demon tribe, and we need you to stop it. And he goes, no. I'm not interested. And they go, fine, whatever, and kick him out. And he's like, I dodged a bullet. I do not want to be fighting a war for these people.
Yeah.
And so what he gets is the skill to, he gets a direct connection to Amazon.com. So he can pull up a thing, order a thing on Amazon, and it will pop up in his world. That is his special ability.
Which would be
How does he pay for this?
Gold. Like they mentioned, like he can put gold in and it gets transferred to yen, and then all that works. And that's basically the thing. Like he arranged that. Yes, I get that disability. And so he's like, I just want to go out to the furthest edges of the world that's still civilized, like camp out, chill, relax, and of course things don't go that simply.
Well, of course not. It wouldn't be that interesting if that just happened necessarily.
Exactly. Yes.
Although it would be very, very healing if you were just in a beautiful wooded scenery, cooking and enjoying your time.
See, this is what but in the real world, this is what I would see. The guy has this power, and he would be able to, send the gold in, get the stuff from the Amazon, and he'd be going to collect the thing from Amazon. Then some dude will just run up and grab his bag and just
this is why he always does it in the wilderness.
Yes.
One of the
pirates.
Yes, exactly. Not to go too deep into it, but one of the cool things is early on, he makes I think like soft white bread, and so he has that because he gets like flour and all that kind of stuff and makes the bread, and then he has some extra when he goes into town. He like gives somebody some bread, like an urchin or something. So he comes up to him and goes, "Where the hell did you find that?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, you're clearly not rich. Where did you find the ability to make like sweet white bread?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, all this stuff is hideously expensive in this world. Like every single thing I buy, even just like regular commodities, are suspicious." So figuring out how to kind of keep all of that, careful is interesting.
Keep it underground.
Exactly. A TV anime arrives in July for the light novels The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen from Villainous to Savior. Another villainous, isekai story.
Yeah.
Dark fantasy light novels Berserk of Gluttony, subtitled The One That Exceeds the Concept of Levels, follows the main character cursed with the skill of gluttony, where he's always starving. Until he kills a dying thief and devours the man's soul, whereupon he discovers the true nature of his skill.
Oh, God.
Well.
Yeah. I think that one's going to be a rough watch.
He could eat the soul.
Yeah.
And I thought you were literally going to.
If you're hungry enough.
And he ate the thief, and I was like, okay, well, we got to eat the soul. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, if you consume their heart, then that presumably you consume their soul.
Exactly.
True.
Yes.
Ew.
Sounds grimdark. Probably.
Yeah.
Dark. Yes.
Yeah.
Last up in long title adaptations, An Archdemon's Dilemma: How to Love Your Elf Bride.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
God, sounds like a how-to book.
Yes, a reclusive sorcerer falls in love with an elf girl at a dark auction, and buys her. It sounds like it's sort of a wedding kind of a thing. But realizes he has no social skills, and so doesn't know how to actually talk to her once she shows up, and so hilarity ensues. Yeah.
Sure.
I look forward to seeing how the anime adaptation rescues that premise.
If it can.
If it can. And now on to the more normal anime announcements. The final compiled volume of the April Showers Bring Forth May Flowers, actually literally translated as Flowers for Ugly, The manga reported an upcoming anime adaptation. It's about a high schooler girl who considers herself ugly and keeps to herself, tending to the flowers in her classroom when nobody's around to see her, until one day she is seen by the class's most popular guy. Dun dun dun!
Holy cow! An idea I've never
seen
heard
this.
of
No,
before. Yeah.
no, completely new.
Oh wow! All right.
Romance manga getting an anime adaptation. Hokkaido gals are super adorable. Basically,
And who was that sponsored by?
yeah.
I wonder?
High school boy moves to Hokkaido, meets a gyaru at a bus stop who takes a liking to him instantly. So I think it's sort of an Earth Girls Are Easy kind of a concept,
Oy.
if you will, applied to that. Who knows? Gora and King Records have announced a new original anime project titled Ayaka, A Story of Bonds and Wounds. The story is set in Ayakashima Island, where a boy with a mysterious power and a boy who was a student of his dead father return to the island to discover they were expected by two more mysterious young men. So sounds like sort of definitely a mystery kind of a story. Looks like a lot of hot guys. Not too surprisingly, perhaps. The artist Red Juice of Beatless, Guilty Crown, and Empire of Corpses is drafting the original character designs.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Anime studio Gaina also announced a new original project titled Flaglia, which aims to, get this, they have a new idea, folks.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Completely new idea. They're going to try to see if this makes sense. They're going to try to connect anime and musicals. Anime and musicals in anime. So they're going to make an original anime and a stage musical production that are like associated.
Huh.
My head's hurting.
So it's going to be simultaneous development versus
Well,
anime first and then making a stage?
In fairness, here's the interesting thing. The anime will be present day. The musical will be Middle Ages. Or Middle Ages like setting. Historical setting. So, yeah, see? It's interesting. Curious.
Yeah.
In fairness, I think the idea here, and they didn't claim this is original. It sounds like they're basically saying, look, it's kind of like that hack, right? We know there's going to be all these adaptations. Let's synchronize them. Let's figure them out ahead of time and say, okay, we're going to do this here, we're going to do that there. We're going to try to actually do something specifically with each of these things.
Right.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah, we'll see.
A little more creative control than sort of interesting adaptation choices.
Exactly, yes. Last up this week, the one that I am interested in, besides the Berserker Gluttony. Kidding. Last up this week, anime is in the work for The Peasant Noble, the autobiographical manga of Hiromu Arakawa, who was the creator of Fullmetal Alchemist and Silver Spoon. This is about Arakawa's life working, or time spent working as a farmer in Hokkaido for 7 years before making manga.
Huh.
Who's a farmer?
Yeah.
Huh.
Spent 7
quite a
years in
career
Hokkaido as a farmer.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Explains Silver Spoon, too, by the way.
Yeah, it really does.
It's been serialized off and on since 2006. So that is coming.
Nice.
Yeah, so kind of interesting.
I love Giden Asaji on Silver Spoon. I loved that show. It was great.
Yeah. Who else would you like to see an autobiographical manga of an odd period in their lives? I had this one locked and
Japanese or not Japanese? Anybody.
Anybody.
That's a very good question.
I've got this one. I know exactly what this is.
Go for it.
I want a story about Miyazaki and Takahata's time organizing a union at Toei.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, that'd be a freaky
Oh
moment.
yes. No, I got one. I got Yoko Kanno's time when she was with Tengo 100%. Yes.
There we go.
Damn. I got nothing.
Okay. Fair.
I got absolutely nothing. I was thinking of Millard Fillmore and how the hell he got to be president.
Okay,
But
yeah.
that's,
Fair.
that's a different whole kettle of fish there.
Very different thing. All right, let's move on to some more normal anime news. This one was a shocker. This one was the one that kind of came out of nowhere. A press release this week revealed that Kadokawa, the media conglomerate, has acquired a majority of Anime News Network's media business.
Wow.
Yeah.
The report states that the acquisition is intended to further strengthen Kadokawa's global marketing efforts related to the digital and physical publication of Japanese light novels and manga, a phrase that means nothing, and the company intends to expand its businesses in the English-speaking market by strengthening collaborations and promotion in other areas. The president of ANN commented he is excited to work with Kadokawa to improve ANN during the course of the coming year, blah, 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 and promises that all of ANN's staff remain entirely dedicated to professional editorially independent journalism, and Kadokawa's resources will benefit ANN's journalism and readers. Here's the thing. I have no doubt, seriously, honestly, that Kadokawa is going to keep them editorially independent. Like, it would be ridiculous for them to come in and try to meddle with that. Why would you even buy it for that? My question is, what is the synergy? Is it Kadokawa says, hey, there's a site where if we take over all of those banner ads for a month advertising our latest Kadokawa thing, it will be seen by X millions of otaku. Is that the play?
I think that's certainly part of it. They're trying to maintain independence of ANN, but there is going to be Rupert Murdoch syndrome, where you've
Why?
got this. Because I think that just seems to me like you wouldn't buy some outlet like that without trying to make sure that your product features somewhere in there more prominently.
Okay.
So the banner ads, certainly, but also that you're going to have a direct line when you want to have an announcement about something and you only announce it through ANN, so that ANN becomes that source for, Kadokawa is doing something new. Well, is it on any of the other sources? No, it's exclusively through ANN, so that draws people to that.
So
How is that compromising their editorial, though?
I'm not saying it's compromised, but I'm just saying that it seems to be like the motives behind this are not just to acquire an independent division that just adds to Kadokawa's catalog. It's going to be a funnel through which they're going to deliver things. And I hope they don't interfere. You know what I mean? I hope they don't come in and say, well, we'd like you to really cover things in this fashion. I hope they do leave them alone. But you never know. The proof is in the pudding. You got to wait to see how this shakes down. Whether they're going to, say we're keeping everybody on board. By the way, the top execs here at Twitter are fired. I mean, the top people at ANN are fired. You never know how this is actually going to play out once the merger really gets steam.
And that's a point too, John. Like when Harris Teeter was bought out by Kroger, and Kroger said, "Oh no, we're not touching Harris Teeter," and then 18 months later, the entire upper echelon of Harris Teeter just went out the window. And then different things started happening under the guise of Harris Teeter, but it was Kroger. But I think but on the other hand, though, for Kadokawa to do that, I think it's smart, because my question is, what is the demographic of ANN if they are wanting to get into more of an English-speaking market and getting more Americans online with Kadokawa, which is something that if you are like us, immersed in this, then Kadokawa is the name that we know. If you're someone who goes, "Oh, I like Death Note and Cowboy Bebop," you wouldn't know what Kadokawa is, but you might be enticed to go to, what's this ANN thing? Hey, what's this? And then Kadokawa is just like, hey, here's this, here's that, and the other thing. Here you go.
And I guess that's my question. Like, obviously I don't think they're going to replace the feed with, buy out Kadokawa stuff. So what is the play? And I wonder if they're going to do the same play that they do in Japan, where it's here is kind of the house magazine, right? Where like, here's a Kadokawa magazine that is going. It's Nintendo Power, right? We're going to feature these things and give you a lot of stuff about these things because we have a direct line to these people, and it's not, which is different from like the folks who report on the news. Right, the folks who report on the news, they're not involved in all of that, but the website itself can have all sorts of features and all sorts of stuff about the latest Kadokawa properties, because those just get kind of dropped right on their desks. So I guess that's kind of the idea is to make ANN a platform for kind of those announcements and those features and things.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Makes sense. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I think you're looking, as you were saying, the pop-up and the banner ads and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, you could leave the site alone and do nothing to the staff, let them just report on things, and then just come in and say, okay, since you're part of Kadokawa, you don't need to sell stuff as much. All of the banners are going to be Kadokawa property.
Right. Yeah.
So you guys report on whatever you want. You want to talk about Toei stuff, you want whatever else. But every other thing in there, we are going to have Kadokawa properties.
The other interesting thing about this is I went to, I forget where I saw the announcement, maybe on Twitter or something, and I looked at the responses, and pretty much all the responses said, Kadokawa, can you do something about the reviews? Like nobody who was responding like had much of a positive opinion for ANN's reviews.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's also a kind of thing where they're like, hey, everyone, to Steve's point, 6 months later, hello, review department, goodbye. We're going to hire these writers who, and again, not like, Kadokawa Stooges, but just like they're like, this needs to be fixed. We are fixing this thing by finding people who know what they're doing, so to speak. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit, I some of the reviews through ANN are not the most stellar.
No.
Well put together, but it's one of those things. We read one review of something. Right. I read several, so it becomes that cloud of opinion that either sways me one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
or Kadokawa just this is their opening barrage on controlling the world.
Exactly. Yes. Through anime news. That is that's how it all starts. Well, speaking of controlling the world, 4 major anime franchises have recently announced upcoming stage adaptations. I think in the future when we do this, I'm going to find some news stories that I'm going to hide from you guys so I can quiz you. So we'll see if you can guess what the 4 franchises are. So we have Evangelion getting a stage play, tentatively titled Evangelion Beyond.
So basically, it'll be audience participation at the end, where everyone is like encouraged to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Slow clap, everybody. There'll be Tang at the refreshment station.
Yeah. It'll be the debut production for a new performing arts venue in Tokyo.
Wow.
It is at Kabukicho Tower, which was on the former site of a theater which screened the Death and Rebirth recompilation film, and footage of theater goers was actually used in the climactic scene from End of Evangelion.
Interesting.
So there's live action footage in End of Evangelion that they captured at that theater, which is pretty cool. We'll circle back to this. FMA also getting its first ever stage play, running in March of next year. Demon Slayer, continuing through every possible adaptation, will be getting a Kabuki play in early 2024.
I wanna see that.
I really want to see that.
No offense to EVA and FMA, but I want to see that.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is titled Super Kabuki Second Kimetsu no Yaiba, because it'll be part of this series called Super Kabuki 2, Second rather, which incorporates contemporary technology into traditional Kabuki. So it's kind of a fusion.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome.
And finally, the long-delayed Mazinger Z stage play will finally make it to stage at the end of this month. Originally planned for March of 2020, but of course, COVID.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see a stage play of Mazinger. How on earth?
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's just
how
gonna
you
be
do
feet
this.
on a stage, giant feet on a stage.
I mean, I literally can't conceive of it. I just cannot.
Maybe there's some really cool puppetry where
Yeah.
just, the actors actually operate the Mazinger.
Maybe they've got
puppet strings.
like the cardboard Gundam outfits cosplay at the conventions, for Mazinger. They come out.
Oh yeah, and it's all on ice, so it's
Right.
Or it's gonna be like Spinal Tap, where we get out there and Mazinger's only gonna be like 2 feet tall and they lower him down.
They have a Mazinger toy from 1983 that just kind of goes across the stage. Yeah.
Imagine, if you will, that Mazinger is giant and fighting, and we'll put this model right here.
Stonehenge.
Yeah.
So, serious question, to which there is no possible answer. How do you stage Evangelion? 'Cause I'm not saying it's not, you can't possibly do it.
Right.
It's just such an interesting property to try to do a stage play version of.
My guess is that they'll probably do it the way that they did, and I'm being serious here, the way they did Miss Saigon back in the 80s, which is you go through all the drama, and with this show, it's going to be all about the people. You know, the actual mecha is not going to be really apparent.
Yeah.
And I would hazard to guess that background staging will probably be screened with, you see nerve
footage in the
center,
back.
that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably at the end will be the money shot moment where you will have something that relates to the mecha. And Miss Saigon, what it was they actually had a Huey that they decommissioned and then just had it, put their own thing together to make it move. And that was the big prop.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that the big prop would happen at the end, and it would be unit 0001 or whatever it would be.
From the water park.
And the thing would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the water park, yes.
We'll say
The crowd will be given the shields.
The
ATM shields.
Well, I imagine, provided you could throw enough money at it. But like the staging that they use for Cirque du Soleil, where you have the giant hydraulic moving stage that you can do things, that you could use something like that to give the, going down the elevator into nerve, and then for your big climactic moment, or not even the climactic moment, but just the Shinji getting the robot moment, where, the depth of the stage, lights come up to reveal the capsule.
Right.
And then an animated on scrim of the Ava unit behind it, and then you have the actor get into the pod, it closes, then the scrim comes down, and it gives you a fight scene that's animated, and then you just, what I mean? It's like I could see how you could do the staging. There is enough talking in an evil world where you could avoid a lot of action, but
how do you, what story do you tell? Where do you start? Where do you end? Because there's just so, you can't just do episode 1.
Yeah.
Maybe you do. I mean, if I were doing it, I would probably do that. I would say I'm going to extend episode 1. I'm going to include a lot of, all the build up to that, all the backstory to that. We're going to stage all of that. And it's going to kind of end with, actually... Ooh.
With Shinji at the Sokka's bedside? No, I'm sorry.
No. I would do the first 3 episodes, or the first 2 episodes. I would do up through Unfamiliar Ceiling. I would have Shinji kind of getting back into the mecha for the second time. End it with with him rescuing his 2 friends. Right? Just give you that.
Yeah.
Give you that character arc of Shinji. And just do it as kind of a stage version of that. Because as you guys were saying, as long as you can come up with some way of having a plug prop, you basically just have him climb into that twice, right? One's halfway through and one's at the end. And the rest of it is basically drama and talking and hospital scenes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And again, provided that you're willing to show an angel coming through and attacking, but you're not going to do that with people. You'll project that on a scrim,
or you just
have more discussion or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can make it happen to get some of that detail out of the way while you have the discussion by the actors on stage.
Yeah, the scene is in Gendo's office, and you hear explosions in the background and so forth and so on of the angel attacking, but it's all just background noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to do it. It's just, wow.
Yeah. It's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
But, and I should have been back on here.
I'm hoping that they're going to, when it happens, that this will be not just like, what was it? Was it Miku did the Kabuki collaboration?
Yeah.
And it was a special price to watch it, like live streamed. It's like I wouldn't necessarily pay to watch how they're going to do this even thing for a live stream, but I'm hoping that there will at some point be a stream of it somewhere that we could see, because I'm really curious to know how they're going to do it. It'd be very interesting. FMA, probably not so much.
Yeah.
As long as the wigs are better in the stage production, then
Exactly.
Than the live action.
Yeah.
We will see. Moving on to some quick news. Let's see here. Comic New Type announced this week the Space Battleship Yamato 2199 manga will resume serialization in December, 5 years after its most recent chapter. New compiled volume also just published for Chibi Maruko-chan, the first new compiled book for the manga in 4 years. There's a new manga coming from the creator of One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, One and Kyotaro Azuma, titled Versus. So, fun. November 3rd marks Godzilla Day, the anniversary of the original Godzilla film. And this year, Toho announced a new work in the franchise is in the works. Sorry, no format revealed yet, but probably live action. Finally, the theoretically upcoming Hollywood live-action remake of Your Name has announced yet another new writer/director, making this the 4th time they've announced new staff since the movie was revealed back in 2017.
It's never going to get there.
Yeah. The previous director reportedly left due to scheduling conflicts, which is... In fair, it is common where if something drags on for long enough, they're like, I've got 3 other projects that have come due. I can't stay on this project. So sometimes that is true. Sometimes it's a euphemism. Often it's a euphemism. It was announced in September of 2020. He directed and rewrite the film's script. The latest addition is Carlos Lopez Estrada of Raya and the Last Dragon and others, who is once again said to rewrite the film and direct it.
It's going to be Last Airbender with M. Night Shyamalan. It's going to be all Airbender.
I wonder if it isn't one of those things where it's gotten to the point where folks are like, I wonder if Shinkai has gotten well known enough now that folks are like, like I'm a little intimidated now. Like I don't know that I want to take this on.
Might be.
I don't know. Or it can morph into something else completely different. Because, what's his name? Kevin Smith, who Clerks and all that. Yeah. He actually did a script for Superman.
Oh yeah.
And when he did the script read for the producer said, I really wanted like a giant mechanical spider. And then 6 months later, they took his script and turned it into the Wild Wild West movie with Kevin Kline and Will Smith.
I actually watched that as well. A little different. They didn't use the same script.
Not the same script, but what I'm saying is they have morphed from they're taking elements and morphing it into something.
Well, it was a little different than that actually, because they actually they threw away the script, but the guy then went on to Wild Wild West and inserted the giant mechanical spider into that. Like he wanted to make a movie with a giant mechanical spider, and just whatever movie he was on, he insisted that would be on there. And so they, for some reason, they're like, okay, here you go. It's very weird.
Wow. I mean, you have
Yeah.
people who want fair representation of people with ethnicities, doing it in a responsible and ethical manner with regards to filming in locations that are maybe like in forests, etc. And his like hill to die on was a giant mechanical
spider. Yes.
Yeah.
That was his thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Wouldn't Superman just be better with a giant mechanical spider? No.
No. No, it would not. I can't think of really any film that I was I really need a giant mechanical spider in this. Like,
there's a fantastic
Steel Magnolias. It gives you a whole new meaning to the film.
there's a fantastic sketch by two British comedians, and it's a writer comes in to a Hollywood producer to talk about, or maybe like an editor to talk about his book. The editor's like, I really love it. I really love everything about it. It's really great. But what if at the end, I just have an idea here. What if at the end everyone dies? I'm just saying. Just what if at the end everyone dies? And he's like, well, no, that just doesn't really make sense. Okay, never mind that. What if everyone lives, but then everyone dies? What if that? And it's just one thing after another. Where it's just.
We have notes. No.
What if instead of it's a mystery, it's a comedy set on the moon? What?
Yeah. Instead of a historical piece about George Patton, how about we do something about a fantasy world with a knight and a mermaid? Yeah. What?
But your idea is great. Your book's great.
We'll name the mermaid Patton. What?
You're right. Bad idea. We won't name the mermaid Patton. Anyway, that's all the news for this week. Thank you all for watching. We will see you all next week.